What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? We are finally diving into this. After how many months since this released? I got no clue. Now, obviously, when this was revealed, everyone was like, really? Bandai? You're just gonna re-release an old figure with new packaging? But apparently it's different from the 2021 Godzilla vs. Kong Godzilla, so that's what I'm here to determine in this video. Now, granted, this figure is very, very old. Many Godzilla YouTubers who actually went ahead and spent the money on this have already done the review on this. They've already done their videos like months ago. It is now March 2025, and I'm just getting into this figure. The new stuff is coming. The Skar King, Shimo, and the Mothra Suko set is on the horizon. I already got my hands on the Skar King by the time you're watching this video, so I can't procrastinate on this Godzilla and the Kong any longer. I got this Godzilla, I want to say maybe like October last year. As soon as I came back from Thailand, I think I ordered this. And then I also got the Kong like a few weeks afterwards. And I prioritized reviewing the Evolved Godzilla first before doing this for some reason. So if you want to check out the Evolved Godzilla review, link will be in the description, end screen, and the card. Let's determine if this is worth picking up at all. So let's do this. So here's the box, your standard size box for Godzilla. We got the SH Monsterarts logo on there. We got the movie logo. This font is pretty nice though, I'm not gonna lie. It's like a mixture of neon, blue, black, and pink. I actually like this color scheme going on. Very nice. We have some of the logos on here. We got the artwork of Godzilla. All the other logos down here. We have the seal of authenticity sticker. This side, and then we got the back, which we can see Gojira residing there in the window. We have some other glams of the figure. And apparently this does come with an atomic breath. The Evolved Godzilla did not come with an atomic breath. This one does. Everything else here is either in Chinese or Japanese. And then finally the stuff at the bottom and stuff at the top. So that's the box out of the way. Let's crack this bad boy open. Okay, this is definitely interesting. Well, for starters, I mean, what did you expect out of this? I think the only reason why people hated on this figure is a very straightforward reason, and it's completely valid. This feels like a copy and paste of the 2021 Godzilla from Godzilla vs. Kong, slightly adjusted some of the stuff, did some minor changes, and then repackaged it with the GXK packaging and re-released it as a whole new product. So the main critique for this figure is that this is a cash cow. Completely valid. I completely understand. Remember, when this Godzilla and Kong was announced, we didn't know about Skar King. We didn't know about Evolved Godzilla. We didn't know about Shimo. None of those designs was announced yet. So already everyone's like, we're gonna get this for the new movie. What is Bandai doing? So that is where most of the critique is coming from. So it's completely valid, but now we're in the future, and I can, safely say we have Evolved Godzilla, which has been out for a while now. We have the knowledge of all the eventual figures that was going to come from this line. Some of us already own them, as you can see with Evolved Godzilla here. So now that I have the Evolved Godzilla, like, my mindset has really shifted, because I remember when this first announced, I was like, well, I'm not gonna pick this up because this just didn't feel like it was worth it. This was an additional $200, and $200 is a lot of money. Why don't I just save the money and get the Evolved Godzilla instead? What was the point of Bandai releasing this Godzilla? And I think my simple answer is, it's a small redesign to get you warmed up for the stuff that was going to come eventually. It's a very expensive warm-up. However, I also want to believe this is a chance for any collector who wasn't able to get the original Godzilla from Godzilla vs. Kong a chance to get this. And as Bandai's definition of slightly fine-tuned, slightly improved, because you can see it is not really as copy and pasty as you think. It's the same character, it's the same mold. Like, all Godzilla figures is going to be copy and pasty. The dorsal plates is obviously the most obvious difference. This blue on this Godzilla is just wham, it's just half energized. That's what I want to say. I will say, I do like the blue on this Godzilla a little bit better than the original one here, because the original one here, it's a little dark. It's actually quite dark. Like, the blue isn't really radiating enough. I don't remember if this one came with an atomic breath or not, but I did remember saying with his mouth, it looked like he was swallowing a whole tablespoon of toothpaste. It looks like he's brushing his teeth and his mouth is just covered with toothpaste. And I think that was my biggest gripe with this figure. With that in mind, let's look at this Godzilla. Blue has obviously changed a lot. Like I said, it looks like he's in his energized state. He's halfway through his energized state before his whole body becomes blue. But look at the major difference that they've done with the mouth. They removed the blue. I feel like they might have heard this complaint from the collectors who got the original figure, and they're like, you know what? Let's give you one where he doesn't have toothpaste in his mouth. So that's already one thing I actually like better about this one versus the original. The dorsal plates, yeah, might be over the top. I want to say the blue might be a little, too extreme. But this is actually kind of close to the -1 Godzilla. But I really like the consistency of this one. Look at the blue. The blue starts off from the tip of the tail and it just climbs its way up to the main dorsal plates, all the way up to the neck. And I have been very vivid about this. Like, the consistency is all I care about when it comes to these Godzillas. SH Monsterarts has been consistent, as you can see with Evolved Godzilla, and it looks like they've done the same with this Godzilla, this half-energized Godzilla. That's literally what I'm going to call this. I do like the white contrasting the blue a little bit. It kind of looks like there's lightning, electricity radiating off him. And you also have some highlights on the edges. Dark blue, slightly purple. It's actually a little glossy as well. It's actually not that bad. This tone of blue really speaks to me. Just look how consistent it is throughout the whole tail. Like, this isn't that bad at all. And even though this does come with the atomic breath, this looks more like he's charging up. I think Bandai should do an SH Monsterarts Godzilla where he is energized, because Haya did it, Playmates did it. Bandai should do it for the SH Monsterarts line. The texture is obviously going to be the same. It's still very scaly, but the coloring is actually a little better too here. So for the original one here, we have some like contrasting. We have some brown contrast. I don't know how well the lighting can pick this up, but there's a bit of a dusting of like brown. This is like following a Playmates format. So yeah, it's actually not too shabby. Now, articulation wise, it's going to be the same. All Godzillas for SH Monsterarts have the same articulation. It's obviously throughout the whole figure, all ball joints. So you have the neck movements, head movements. Some of these are stiffer than the others. This part's a little loose, but you know, that's part of it. The tail, fully articulable with the ball joints on a bunch of different angles. So that's always been a very good thing from SH Monsterarts. And then we have the leg articulation, knee articulation, ankle articulation. It's the same. It's always been the same through these Godzilla molds. And then we have the arms, elbows, wrists. If you're a seasoned SH Monsterarts collector, this is nothing. This is old news to you. Nothing you see here in articulation should surprise you, honestly. Now, as far as accessories is considered, obviously I showed you the atomic breath. The last Godzilla I had from the SH Monsterarts line that had an atomic breath was probably the King of Monsters one. This atomic breath is, yeah, I mean, it's nothing really new, I'm gonna be honest with you. It's just a blue candy-like licorice piece. It's solid, probably works wonders with this figure. I mean, the blue of the atomic breath matches the blue on the dorsal plates very, very nicely. And with the toothpaste mouth gone, I think it looks more realistic. With the toothpaste mouth, at least if you stick the atomic breath in, it makes it more believable. But this one doesn't have it, and I think it's better without the atomic breath, it looks convincing. With the atomic breath in, it still looks convincing. So that's good. However, there is an additional jaw piece here that does have a connection point. It has like the beginning of the atomic breath so that you can connect the atomic breath piece like this, right? That is if you want Godzilla to shoot the beam forward, horizontally. Most people don't want that, unless he's shooting like Ghidorah or another flying titan. Most of the time, Godzilla is just shooting the heat ray down towards the ground like this. So honestly, I don't think there is a need to break the jaw out of there, replace it with this one. Just do this. Use the center point like that. I think the times when the jaw piece here is necessary is if you want a photo shoot or a stop motion of him shooting at another titan. Then yeah, it's more believable. Now also, we have an additional pair of hands. Most Godzillas include this. Current ones on there are the open claws, open hands. This one's more closed up. It's not that big of a difference. So that's all the accessories. The heat ray piece, and then you have these. You actually get more out of this Godzilla than the Evolved Godzilla, because the Evolved Godzilla, all you got was the figure itself and an extra pair of hands. That's about it. No pink heat ray piece. That was definitely a missed opportunity. Should have 100% included the heat ray piece. Now this Godzilla's case, it got some hate, but at least it included a heat ray piece. The main reason for people not liking this is just it feels so lazy. This is before Evolved Godzilla and everything else released, so obviously when people saw this, it's not lore accurate. So yeah, it felt lazy. I understand. And of course the price tag. This thing is not cheap. It is actually one of the better Godzillas in my opinion. I think there's more color to this Godzilla than the OG one. Now, that being said, let's say you're on a tight budget. If you already own the original 2021 Godzilla, you can forget this figure. Unless you actually like this design a lot better, like me, there is no point for you to get this. Save your $200 to buy the Evolved Godzilla, because trust me, this one was absolutely worth it. I really like this. And of course, it's movie accurate, so more people are going to want to buy something that is more accurate to the lore and to the movie. This Godzilla is going to be swept under the rug. I assume at this point it already is. Many people already forgot this Godzilla exists. You're welcome. I'm gonna say this Godzilla figure is gonna be underrated, but it's not worth it. It's not a need. It's not necessary. Save your money for some of the better Godzillas. However, between this and the original one, obviously, I want to say this one is a little better. It feels very Playmates, but super high quality. So out of 10, I think I'm going to give this Godzilla a solid 8 out of 10. It's not perfect. The Evolved Godzilla definitely trumps on this one, but for a standard blue Godzilla, yeah, it's a little copy and pasty. Feels like a re-release. I've heard that many times. This one isn't too bad. Did anyone ask for this? Absolutely not. But is it necessary? Absolutely not. But is it bad? Absolutely not. It's decently enough that if you don't have a blue Godzilla from the SH Monsterarts line and you don't want to pay a scalper an even higher price tag, then get this one. That's pretty much all I gotta say for this SH Monsterarts 2024 half energized Godzilla. If you want to check out the reviews I've done for the OG 2021 Godzilla and Godzilla Evolved, be sure to check them out after this video. Hit that like button, subscribe, do all the good stuff, and next up it is going to be Kong.